I'm going to show you some chord voicings that you could play for both section A and section B. And we'll be using an acoustic guitar to layer a really nice transparent track over the rhythm section. The chord voicing is an E sus2. An easy way to visualize this is if you know a D chord and you pick up your second finger, you have a D sus2. So we're going to refinger it with the third and fourth fingers. The root would be on the fourth string, so there you have a really nice movable sus2 voicing. And I wrote it on an acoustic guitar because that way I could still play this bass line. But we're not going to need to play that bass line because I've already got the bass guitar playing it. So all we're going to do is just play an arpeggiated figure. So I'm just using ring, middle, and index. Thumb can rest on the bass strings. And you'll probably see me sometimes play with a full bar, and it might look like I'm pressing the strings down, but I'm just deadening these bass strings, okay? It's just a good posture and allows me to stay uniform when I have to play particular chords and things. Now I'm playing it with my fingers. You could just as well play it with the thumb, index, and middle. Different sound. You could play it with a pick, you could play it with hybrid picking, whatever you want on this, but this particular track I'm going to use my fingers. That allows me to get some different sounds. Now we're using an electric acoustic guitar, so we're running direct out of it, so it's got that little bit of a quacky piezo sound. If I was doing a record, I'd use a real acoustic guitar and mic it up, but for purposes here, it works. So that's going to be our basic arpeggiated figure that establishes section A. Then section B goes to two different chords. The first chord is going to be a G major 9 because the bass moved from G on up to B, so I have my first inversion, so it's still a G major 9 with a B and a bass. And a good way to see that is it's a D chord over a G. Now if you're not familiar with some of these chords, I'll show you even a simpler approach. And these chords are a little more physically demanding if you're not used to them. You could take a regular G chord, mute the fifth string, pick your second finger up, and go over and drop the root down to the natural 7. That gives you a nice G major 7 chord. You could add the D in there. You could actually look at it as a D over G. So we have a lot of different voicings that you could play in there. Then when it goes to the D chord, it's a D minor 11, D minor 7, 11. I've got some different voicings in there. So if I need the root, and I want to talk about this in just a minute, so you hear it by yourself, you're going to put the root in there. It's a little bit of a contortion on this. You have D, F, I'll chart these out for you, open G, C, F, and then if you want to get that natural 9 in, you have to lean forward a little bit and clear that first string with your index finger. So it's a big stretched out chord. Bass is already playing the D at that point, so you don't have to play the D, then you can just play what looks like a C over an F. See the top 3 strings of a C chord over the F bass? So that would be a real nice voicing over that. And again, if you're not used to, these more stretched out voicings, going back to what I showed you earlier, you could have gone. Here's a D minor 7. It's an F over a D bass. Put the open G in there, gives you your 11. So that would actually be a little more practical if you're just strumming it, or it's just not as demanding physically. So those are voicings that would work. And remember, you can come up with whatever you want. The way I look at chords is there's a key of the moment. For whatever chord I'm on, there's a particular mode or scale, and there may be more than one applicable, but I just can pull chords out of that scale. Whatever extensions I want are available in that. So what I'm looking at when I play the G, I'm either in a G scale or G Lydian, so I have these big chords. Major 13, that's not the sound. I don't want the 6th in this. It's all a matter of personal preference. Then when I go to that D minor 7, I could just go D minor, but it's too shallow sounding, too simplistic, so we start extending it. D minor 7, D minor 9, D minor 7, 11. Whatever sound you want, just find it out of the scale and mix and match. And I'll also play voicings farther up the neck. I can play these same, and you need no duplication. This particular voicing is available right here, but then I have the B up on top. Now I realize this guitar doesn't have any markers except for this little infinity sign at the 12th fret. So again, you need to see where you are. They have the dots on the side, but I'm on the 7th fret here. That's a really nice voicing and enables me to get that high B. And I'm free to add other notes out of that G major scale or G Lydian. And then another voicing for that D minor 11. Really a nice voicing. The inclusion of those open strings gives a nice sonority, ringing sound, harp style. So those are the two chords for section B. Let's put these over the track. I'll demonstrate against the track, and think of these as something we may build on top of, especially for section A, because you have a lot of repetition with that section A. We'll actually look at inversions of these sus2 voicings and how you could stack them, and some other ideas with harmonics.